Hey friends, welcome back to Ball Homestead. This is the final week of the Every Bit Counts challenge, and I'm super excited to bring you these recipes this week, and I hope there's something that can help you on your homestead. On this day, I had received 2 Walmart bags full of sweet peppers from a friend at work. He usually gives me these every year whenever he has had him and his family have had their fill, and I gladly take them because what I do is I take each pepper and just chop the outside good part off and the bottom, and then I chop these, and then we have peppers to do us from one year to the next. I love having these on hand. They are super handy to have, and it saves a ton of money because you don't have to buy them for different things. So when someone offers me something for free, I take it. I usually feed him a meal and or two, and I always am so appreciative that he does this for me. Anyways, we're going to get all those peppers chopped, and I'll show you what we have at the end. We ended up with 2-gallon bags, and I'm super pleased. These peppers will be used for many different things. Hey friends, today I was gifted 2 Walmart bags full of jalapenos. So I have already got 1 bag chopped. I'm going through and saving the pretty ones because we're going to use those to make stuffed peppers tomorrow. I just forgot cream cheese today. And the ones that are kind of striped and stuff, I'm chopping, and I've already got 4 pounds chopped. 4 pounds of jalapenos. We are going to make jalapeno hot sauce out of that. I'm not going to take you through the whole process because I've done a video on that. I'll link it in the description, but I'm probably going to have 2 massive batches of hot sauce like this. So I'm super excited because we all love this hot sauce. It is so good, and the guy that brought this to me, he brought me those sweet peppers that I chopped yesterday, and he does this every year, and I feed him a meal for free when he comes in. So I'm also going to take him some jalapeno hot sauce because he loves this kind of stuff too, and it would give him and his family another idea to use jalapenos up. So that is the plan. I'm using my mini chopper, and I will link it in the description. And I'm just going to get these babies chopped and in the pot. This mini chopper I got on Amazon. Like I said, I will link it in the description. This is my 3rd season of using this, and I absolutely love it. It saves so much time chopping peppers. But I end up chopping all the peppers, the jalapenos that I'm not going to use for jalapeno poppers, and some of those I do 2 massive batches of hot sauce, and there is still about a half of a gallon bag left, so I decided to freeze those because I can use those for pepper jelly and all kinds of stuff throughout the winter. And I really didn't have the space in either pot for those. I was pretty full. These are the jalapenos we're going to make jalapeno poppers out of one day this week. And over here on the stove, we have 2 big pots full of jalapenos. And they've got to cook for the next 11 minutes. And then we'll do the next step. Also, while I was waiting for these to can, I went ahead and scooped all the seeds and stuff out of the ones I'm going to fill tomorrow, so that'll just save me some time then. About a half a gallon, and we can add to that because our jalapenos are still putting off a ton. But I did not want any of these jalapenos to go to waste, and we really enjoy the hot sauce, both of us, so I'm going to make and can a ton today. All right, today I've got 1 more pint in the water bath canner and 1 more half pint. I did half pints to do like for gifting. I didn't want to give a whole pint in case someone didn't like it. Anyways, we got 8 pints and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 half pints. I've got one in the fridge, but I filled 2 more sauce bottles up. And I am very pleased with this. We will enjoy this hot sauce all winter long. We love it on tacos, fajitas, noodles, everything. We really enjoy it. So I made me one to take to work to share with people there. I made him one to take to work, and we have our personal one in our fridge. I've actually ordered some like smaller hot sauce bottles because I thought at Christmas those would make amazing gifts. But this is the end of day 2. It's the next day, and we are going to finish taking care of those jalapenos. I've got a couple of pounds of sausage over here cooking, and then we're going to add some yummy stuff to it and get it ready to stuff all these jalapenos. So we'll get going on that. Here we're just browning some sausage. This is some of our homegrown pork that we did this past year, and we really love it. I don't know what the future holds for us with this, if we're going to stick with the coonies or what. We've got one sow left, and we thought she was pregnant, and we were going to keep all the babies to raise up for butchering, but we're unsure now if she is pregnant, so we're just going to have to wait and see and go from there. But this is some really good sausage. We have been really enjoying it. And when we get done getting this all browned, we'll do the next step. Now we're going to start tossing in our cream cheese, and I just kind of take my spatula and break this up. I just bought it, so it's been out of the fridge ever since I was in town, so it's a little bit softer, which is good. It just makes it easier to melt down. We're going to throw 4 blocks in this because we have 100 peppers to do, and I'm hoping this will be enough. We're going to melt this cream cheese into this ground sausage here. Once this gets all kind of melted, then we're going to add some just cheap old Parmesan to it. You could add the better stuff if you wanted to, but we like the flavor in the peppers. Alright, we've got a few little chunks in there, but it'll work out. We're going to go ahead and add the rest of this and give it a taste and see if it needs more. This kind of helps with your seasoning factor of your peppers, because Parmesan cheese is a little bit salty. So anyways, that's kind of what we like. You can do this however you want. Some people freeze them like this, then go back and wrap bacon around them. We don't. We just bake them with the sausage mixture. That's how we enjoy them. So let's give it a taste and see if it needs some more parm. Just a little more. Put just a little bit more. We'll get all that mixed together, and then we're going to start filling some peppers. This right here saves me so much time later on, because when we have a get together to go to and I need to bring something, if we're especially during the holidays doing finger foods, this is a good one to have. Perfect. So good. Now we're going to get us a spoon and start filling these peppers. Alright, I've turned our bar into a little jalapeno stuffing station. And all we're going to do is take a jalapeno, get a scoop of our mixture, and put it on it like so, and set it in the pan. And we're going to keep doing that until we get all these filled. Once we get all these filled, We will pop them in the freezer, and when they're frozen well, we're gonna go back probably tomorrow, get our vacuum sealer out, package them in packages of 12 is kind of what I like to do, so I kind of know how many is in each package. And if I need to pick one package out for me and Wayne, I can take one out. If I need to take more out because we're having family over, I can take more out. But I know I have a dozen in each package. So that's how I do it. You can go back and wrap bacon around these once you're fixing to cook them. I don't. We prefer them like this. And you can, these are so good. We probably already put up 6 or 7 dozen. And this is gonna put us up to probably, I'd say 15 dozen or more in the freezer. And I love having them in the freezer for convenience, because I don't like to do this all the time. You know, making all the mixture, doing the jalapenos. I just like to do it one time, make one mess, get a bunch done, and enjoy them the rest of the time. So that's what we do during the summer and stuff, is try to put up enough jalapeno poppers to last us from one year to the next. One year we put up around 1,000 of them, and we had enough to do us for a couple of years, so we kind of cut back, and we probably do 15 to 20 dozen a year, and this will do us until the next season. If we run out, we're just out for the year. But this is just what we do, and we really enjoy these little babies. Already got one pan filled. I'll show you what we got when we're done. All right, we got 4.5 pans of beautiful jalapeno poppers, and we're gonna get these in the freezer. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We will be doing apples tomorrow. Here are the apples we're gonna be working on tomorrow. I went and picked these for my son's apple tree. I do every year. He bought his great-grandparents' place, and he has 2 apple trees, and they were loaded. Some of them I couldn't even get close to reaching in the really tall tree. But I think this will be enough to make a bunch of apple pie filling and possibly some applesauce. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey friends, it's the next day, and we're gonna get all of our jalapeno peppers that we flash froze, and they are ready to be vacuum sealed. Excuse me, I've been out milking and feeding animals, and I got a little warm today. So let's get all these vacuum sealed up, and then we're gonna get started on some apples. Okay, I'll do these in 12, so I'm gonna put 12 in my bag. 3, 6, and we're just gonna vacuum seal them. Once I get all these done, I have a food saver. My parents got it for me one year for Christmas, and I love it. I think vacuum sealing's the way to go. We'll just keep doing this. I'll show you how many we get in the end. All right, we ended up with 9 dozen. Some have a few more than a dozen because I had like 8 left at the end, so I put a couple in those last few bags. Anyways, we're gonna get these in the freezer, and we're gonna get started on those apples. All right, here is our little apple contraption. We're gonna get an apple. I'm trying to remember. It's been a year since I've used this. I think I have to. Hold on, let me figure it out. All right, we're gonna get going with this. This thing peels them and slices them. And cores them. We take our apples, our pit here, and throw it in, and then put our nice little slices, which it didn't do a very good job on this, so I'll get a knife and cut this little bit out, which this was our first try. get all this out, and I've got a bucket down here kind of catching the peels. I'll probably still have to do a bunch of cleaning, but anyhow, we're gonna try to get these babies put up. And I'm just putting them in a bowl of lemon juice to keep them from turning brown. And we're just gonna keep plugging along. I'll show you what I got in a little bit when we're ready to start making pie filling, and we'll go from there. Perfect. Then we just pop all that in. We pull this back and it knocks the core off. Yeah, I guess it went in the bucket. And we just keep going. All right, guys, I have got 1 pan of water over here because we're gonna just boil these apples for a minute and get all the air bubbles out of them. Apples have a ton of air bubbles. And in this pan, we're gonna make our goo for our pie filling. So we're gonna need, let me grab some sugar. I thought we'd do this 1 bushel at a time. We're gonna need 5 cups of sugar. I'm gonna get a bigger measuring thing here. We'll be here all day. Let's see. Actually, it's 4 1/2. 4 1/2. I'm just gonna leave this out because we're gonna have about probably 4 batches to do. I don't know if I'll do them all tonight or not, but I'm going to get going on it. All right, our water bath canner, I'm filling it up over here. Now we need 10 cups of water. So we are going to, what did I do with, oh, I left it in the sugar. I was like, what did I do with that cup I just had? All right, we're gonna do 10 cups of sugar, or 10 cups of water, not sugar. 1, 7, and 10. We're gonna go ahead and turn this on and get it going. We're gonna put some cinnamon in this. We like a lot of cinnamon. And we're gonna bring this to a boil. Once we bring it to a boil, we're going to add our clear gel. We need a half a cup to a cup per batch. I kind of like to go on the thinner side. I just feel like it covers better. Anyways, we're just gonna get this all boiling here and get this sugar dissolved. And then we'll get our clear gel mixed up and added. Here, our water is almost boiling. And once we get it to a boil, we're gonna start putting our apples in it. And once we get them out, we'll pack them in the jars. Because you want to do this or your apples are gonna have little air pockets, and you'll have a big space at the bottom of your jar. So that's why I do it. Let me find, here it is. And as I'm doing this, I'm gonna cut these apples so they're like in a slice, and I'm gonna drop them in. There's 2 different varieties of apples. That's why some look more orangey. And a lot of those I did not end up using because some of them was really soft. These are bright white. We're gonna cut off any bad spots we see or anything like that. But I tried to catch those when I was cutting them. So anyways, we're just gonna get all these apples and apple pieces in here. I've got them soaking in lemon juice to keep them from turning brown. And we're just gonna let these in here for just a minute to release the air bubbles in them, because all fruit has a lot of air bubbles in it. And you always want to do this step because it helps you pack your jar fuller. This is one of those bags that was crammed full, which I did toss quite a few apples of the red ones. They were already starting to get soft and had some way big bad spots in them, and I did not want that in my final product. But they will not go to waste because we have a fat, hungry pig that will enjoy every morsel of those apples, and some goats. I'm sure they will too. All right, we're just gonna let these set for a minute. We're gonna bring this to a boil. Once we're ready to do our next step, I'll show you. I ended up changing things around so I could get my water bath canner on, but we're fixing to start putting these apples, they're good and hot, into our jars. And we want to pack them and leave about 1/4 of an inch to an inch of headspace. I've read 2 or 3 different recipes and they all say something different, so anywhere in that area. The recipe that I'm following said nothing about doing this, but I do this because it was the best apple pie filling, the fullest, prettiest jars that I ever made was last year, and I had read to do this to get the air bubbles out of your apples. So I'm gonna do it from now on. It just makes a prettier product, and I like having pretty products. All right, I'll get a couple more in this jar, and then we're gonna start on, yeah, that's good. We'll start on a new jar and get the rest of these apples in here to boil for just a minute. All right, guys, we're finally to the point where we're gonna get our first batch of apples in. I have been peeling like a crazy fool. We're packing these jars because I want you to see, these were full to the tippy top, and I can go back and add apples to the tops. When you boil them for just a minute to release the air, it makes them shrink down. And if you wouldn't have done that, you wouldn't have your jar completely full. And it makes a lot, I mean, you can do it that way, but this makes a lot prettier product. So we're just going to get these few that's in here out and get them packed in a jar. And then we are going to make our goo. I've got, you know, our 10 cups of water, our 4.5 cups of sugar, and our cinnamon over here. And it's boiling away. We're just going to move this out of the way for a minute. We're going to move it forward. I'm going to turn that off, and we're going to add some clear gel. I'm going to mix probably about 3/4 of a cup of clear gel, what I've got left in here. This will be our last bit, which I've already done one batch, but I had a company in here, so I couldn't really do any recording at that moment. But we're going to mix this up really good with our water. Then we're going to put it in here. And we're going to get it stirred around good, because this is going to thicken up our goo. I don't like to get it super thick because it's going to thicken on in the canning process. So I kind of like to do it a little bit thin, just because I know it's going to thicken on up some. All right, we're going to go ahead with that and start. I've got 2 jars filled. We're going to continue to fill these jars. Some of this kind of, and we'll go back because we're going to have to debubble these and top these jars off. But I like to have it thin enough where it will get around those apples good. Because if you don't, it's hard to really get the goo down there and make sure you're getting all them air bubbles out. But we're gonna get all these filled. Got 7 quarts here. Guys, that's a lot of apples. I have been peeling apples like a crazy woman. We're just gonna go back and kind of top these because they have shrunk down some here. And our last one back here, I'll just flip that off. I can thicken this thicker whenever I make a pie if I need to, but I've never needed to. Whenever I go to make my apple pie, it's usually so thick that, you know, I mean, it's no big deal. See, we're gonna have to adjust the headspace probably on all these a little bit because all that juice is sinking down. We're gonna have to top each jar now. We're gonna go back and top them. Then we're going to clean our rims. Okay. We're gonna go back, wipe all of our rims. Our water bath canner's hot. Our jars are smoking hot. So we're gonna get these into the water bath canner. I actually had to buy more quart jars because I haven't used all of my quarts up this season. Whew, hot, hot. These are gonna water bath can. I'm gonna take a little dab of that out. Just a little bit. Didn't like that head space. It was a little more than what I wanted, so now I'm gonna wipe that rim really good. Get our new seal and our ring on. Get these in here, put our lid on, and we're gonna set a timer for 25 minutes. And I'll see you then. All right, guys, we got it done. I am pooped, so pooped. I've worked 12 hours today, and I've come in and did 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16 and a half quarts of apple pie filling. That was about 3 bushels of apples that we peeled, cored, and got in the jars and made our sauce. I wanted to show you though a few things that I love and use all the time, and one of those is this Hoosier Hill Farm clear gel. I also use the Hoosier Hill Farm pectin when I'm making my jams, and I love both of these products. This is the clear gel. It's safe for canning. So that's an idea for you there. I'll link those both in the description, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys, for our last day. Look at this beautiful pie filling. See how our jars are full and they're not all shrunk up? That's from putting those apples in a little boiling water for just a few minutes. That makes a huge difference. It gets all the air bubbles out and helps them pack down better. And it just makes for a prettier jar of apples. All right, anyways, I'll see you tomorrow.
I don't know how well this shows up, but these muscadines are everywhere. everywhere. Waste not, want not.
Exactly right. Wayne and I have been up and at it this morning, feeding, milking, and moving some cages that someone's going to pick up in a little bit. We noticed the muscadines are ready, so we are out here picking. We've already picked one bowl full, and we're starting on number 2.
The only problem with muscadines is they tend to grow up into the trees. And, well, more often than not, you'll just sit there and wait for them to drop. They drop on the ground, you'll go ahead and harvest some of them then, and as they fall, you'll get a few more one day or the other. Unless, of course, you have pallet forks, a pallet, and a homesteader who doesn't have enough patience for them to hit the ground. And that would be her. And she's got to have, she has to have a little intestinal fortitude too, because not just anyone would get put 7-8 foot up into the air on a pallet, but for muscadine, she's willing to do it. I'd say one of the hardest working homesteaders around. She's a pretty hard worker too. She was up all night protecting everybody. That's my number 2 girl right there.
Alright guys, we got our first picking of muscadines. We did pretty good, I think. And as you can see from the video, there isn't much I won't do for some muscadines. I like to eat them, I like jam, and this week we're going to make some muscadine wine. So we're going to get started on it. It takes quite a bit of time, but we have quite a few, and we'll continue to get quite a few over the next several weeks. So this is going to be a good year for this being the first picking. I'm more than pleased. We got about 2.5 gallons of fresh picked muscadines. I've got them washed and in the bag, and I'm going to get those in the freezer now. To start making our wine, I took that 1/2 gallon of berries and I just barely covered them with water, and I'm going to let those cook down for a bit so we can extract as much of the juice as we can. I have boiled my juice, and I'm going to take and mash these berries and try to get as much of that juice out as I can. And I went ahead and grabbed one of the homemade juices we made, and that, in this challenge, to add to kind of cool this off, because we don't want it to kill our yeast. We're going to mix all of our sugar and stuff in this before we pour it into our jug. It'll just make easier pouring. So right here, we're going to add 4 cups of sugar to this. I've got a little 1/4 cup here, so we're going to add 16 of these. about what we had. I'm just gonna pour that little extra in there. Now we're gonna take a whisk and kind of stir that together really good and make sure we get that sugar really dissolved in this warm juice. Now, like I said, I got one of our quarts here of the juice we made in the Every Bit Counts challenge because I want to cool this off a little bit because it's piping hot and I don't want to ruin my yeast. So I'm just going to strain this off because we can it with the berries into this and mix it in. And we will give these berries to the chickens or the pig, one of the two. And we're going to kind of stir that in. And see, now it's the perfect temperature for our yeast. So I'm going to get that out and we're going to add the equivalent of a packet of yeast. I don't have packets because I buy mine in bulk, so that would be about 2 teaspoons of yeast. And we're going to mix that in. All right, now we got to get all this into our jug. The fun begins. All right, I just have a regular wine making jug here and I have a funnel on it. I'm gonna take that out because we want all that pulp and stuff going in there. And we are going to bring our juice a little closer and we're gonna start putting our sugar juice yeast mixture into our jug. All right, we are just gonna start taking our mixture, pouring it in. This is a kind of a messy little process. The juice is sticky and stuff, but we're gonna get as much of it in this jug as we can. You can buy special yeast for making wine, but I've always just used regular yeast and it's turned out fine. It is pretty stout. This is not like your wine that, you know, it can get really strong. Now we're going to add, I think it's 3 or 4 quarts of water. I need to double check my recipe to this. And then it's just about a time thing because it's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to be ready. But we're going to get our water added and get it mixed kind of good and then get our bubbler on. 3.5 quarts, so I couldn't remember exactly the ratio. We're going to add that to our jug now. And it's cold water. So I've just got me a quart jar here. And we are going to fill this up. There's one. 3. And Now, what I do, I don't know if you need to do this, is I just kind of shake mine around. I'm going to show you kind of how full it is. And I just kind of shake it around just to kind of mix everything together. We've already got the sugar dissolved in the warm thing. I'm going to just kind of wipe our jug off and get any sticky off of it so that it ain't gross, you know. Now we're just going to put our bubbler on this and let it set for 6 to 8 weeks. Oh, right here it is. This, we do put a little water in this. And it will, got a little too much in there. It will bubble and let the gas escape. So you want to get it in there really good. And once it starts bubbling, you know your wine's making. So, like I said, I just leave this for 6 to 8 weeks and kind of go from there. And we'll taste it and see what we think that needs to set longer. We've made quite a few batches of wine over the years. And Wayne was asking me to make him some muscadine wine. So, that's what we're going to do. This should probably make about 4 to 6 quarts of wine. And anyways, we'll see how it turns out. I'm just gonna go set it in the bedroom where it's nice and cool and dark, and we'll just forget about it for about 6 weeks. All right, for our Every Bit Counts challenge today, we are going to work on what I like to call my little, you use fresh basil and little tomato tomatoes, a little onion, and a little pepper, and make these little packs and freeze them. And then you can use it in pasta. We've used it in like chicken before. They're just really good, and they add a ton of flavor, and it doesn't take long to do them. So we're gonna do those today. And if we have enough stuff left, we're gonna do some fajita packs. So let's get started. All we're gonna do is, like, this pepper's got a bad spot. I'm gonna chop that off and put over here in the bowl. Then we're just gonna cut all the good part off of our pepper. We're just gonna do this the same way with all these. I picked a big pile of basil here. We're gonna use that, and we're gonna chop some onions and tomatoes up. I've got everything chopped for the basil packs. So what we're going to do is split this basil and do a little bit in probably 3 bags. We'll just do 3 helpings of this because it's really delicious in pasta. And we've even used it whenever I was cooking chicken. I just kind of dumped it over it, and it was so yummy. And Wayne even liked it because it had onion in it. So we're going to do 3 little bags. And we're going to split these tomatoes between them. Just a little bit in each one. And we're going to split this onion between it. I just chopped 1 onion. And then we're going to vacuum seal these. And they're ready for the freezer. And like I said, they're so good for quite a few different things. I mean, you could add more tomatoes to this if you wanted, but I want to use some of these for other things. And a little tomato to me in something like noodles and stuff kind of goes a long way. So I am good with just a few. So we're going to get those vacuum sealed, and we'll start our next one. We're ready to do our fajita packs, and I think this will be so handy for me to just grab and throw in some chicken or steak whenever we decide we want some fajitas. So I'm going to take about, I kind of just slice these where they're in pieces, probably about 3/4 of this onion because it's a little smaller. We're going to take a handful of these peppers, a few of these jalapenos, and a few of these poblanos and sweet peppers, and we're gonna pop that in the vacuum sealer. And we're just gonna keep filling our bags and see what we can come up with. I think this will be really handy, so I don't have to chop peppers and all that every time that we want to make fajitas. I think I'm just gonna split what's left between 2 more bags here, and that'll give us 4 meals worth of fajita stuff. And I have some more jalapenos if I need them. Jalapenos for this one, so we'll have a little heat in it. We have had a really good pepper year this year, plus my friend from work gave me a ton of peppers, so we have really been blessed this year with abundance. Gonna get all that in there and get these sealed up. Guys, and just like that, we have 3 basil pasta packs and 4 fajita packs for the freezer. It's just Wayne and me, so it doesn't take as much as a big family. But these are so quick and simple to put together from your garden vegetables. All right, guys, this is going to be the last project for the Every Bit Counts challenge. I have a bunch of tomatoes in here, and I picked some fresh basil. What little bit of onion I had left, I threw in there. And we are just going to let this cook down. Then we're going to immersion blend it. It already smells wonderful, so we'll see how it turns out. Right, guys, we ended up with 3.5 pints of the tomato basil sauce. I'm excited about this. I hope it turns out delicious. And I really, really enjoyed this challenge. It kept me really focused and on task, and I got a lot accomplished. Thank you, Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, for putting on this challenge every year. I really, really enjoyed this challenge. This is just a few pictures from the pantry. It's kind of a working disaster, but it works for us. We turned a bedroom into a pantry room just for space. And we try to can enough every year to last us from one year to the next. Thank you guys for watching our homestead. I hope these videos help you. Until next time, goodbye.